Hey you guys, welcome to another Patreon exclusive episode of The Litter Box. Man oh man, a lot to talk about this week. Usually I have Des here with me. In fact, we filmed the Litter Box episode last week that I never aired. Maybe I'll post that at some point. But if you probably noticed that there's no episode of Why We Love on the channel today, like there's supposed to be. I hate that. Anything that's like a scheduled thing, anything that's like there's 3 scheduled shows on the channel right now. There's PSVR this week, there's Why We Love, and then there's PSVR Gamescast Live. And whenever one of those things doesn't go up as scheduled, like it totally kills me. There we go. Let's get that thing out of here. These are not difficult things to do, you know, like especially once you're in the routine, once you're in a schedule, you just get used to doing them, you know. PSVR this week, I'm very, very often finishing just hours before it airs. I usually set my alarm clock for like 5 a.m. And then from like 5 to 10 a.m. I'm working on PSVR this week, and then I go back to bed until like 4 in the afternoon. Total mess. But that's all kind of part of the problem right now. My sleep schedule is a disaster, and it's not because I know a lot of you guys think that like, oh, I never sleep. And there was a point where that was kind of true. All I did was work on the channel, and that's all I really do when I'm awake, honestly. But my health has been like a total disaster recently. I've given you guys bits and pieces about my health issues lately, and I just kind of wanted to clarify what's going on as if I have any real explanation. I've been back and forth to the doctor pretty much nonstop for the last month. Nonstop tests, blood work, results. All results are coming back negative, which should be a positive thing, something I'm really happy about. I'm not diabetic like I thought I was, because it runs in my family. My diet is atrocious. When I talk about pizza, I mean, I eat pizza like fucking 24/7. So there would be good reason to think that I'm diabetic. I'm not. Also, they did think I have. They thought I had cancer, lymphoma. That was last week or the week before. And in the most recent thing, I'm actually waiting for a phone call. It should come today or tomorrow. My doctor and a few other people I know in the medical field think I have lupus, which I didn't know anything about until they said I might have it, and then I looked into it. It's an autoimmune disorder. The number one thing that it does to you is that it just totally makes you tired all the time, no matter how much sleep you get. Which I'll tell you, that's exactly what I've been experiencing for almost a year now. I was able to fight through it better earlier in the year, and the reason I've been seeing the doctor so much recently is because now it's like fucking debilitating. You know, it's like all I want to do is play PSVR games and work on reviews and do stuff for the channel. I used to put up like almost 2 videos a day, you know, like we were up at least 10 videos a week. And recently it's been like 4 or 5, like really, when I say the bare minimum, as far as I'm concerned, I will never, ever, ever in my entire life let the channel suffer as much as it's been suffering recently. Because I don't know. I don't like when there's not a lot of content going up. I want it to be good stuff, right? I want it to be good stuff, but I want there to be a lot of it too. I want quantity and quality, because this is what I like to do. You know, if I hated doing it, then it would be a totally different story. But I love doing it. It occupies all of my time, and right now, too much of my time is devoted to like sleeping because I just have zero energy. So we're waiting for those test results, but I want to talk a little inside baseball here for a second. I don't think this has ever happened before. Des and I have filmed a lot of episodes of Gaming Without Parole, and then eventually Why We Love PSVR. We filmed a lot of episodes, and we've had issues, right? Had ones that I'm not terribly proud of that I'm like, all right, we'll just air it anyway. We've also had issues with like, we filmed an episode of Fantastic Contraption, Why We Love Fantastic Contraption, that we never aired because it was sort of one that we kind of put on the back burner. We filmed it and we were like, okay, when, you know, if we need it, we'll use it. And then like they updated the game and a lot of the things we talked about weren't even relevant anymore. So that's just sitting on a backup hard drive somewhere, like never to be used. So that's like a lot of work, man. We put a lot of work and time and effort into not only playing the games, capturing footage, researching the games, researching the developers, coming up with, talking points and stuff for a half an hour episode, then filming the episode. I mean, it's like a whole day of work that we just threw away, which is a real shame. We also had an episode with the audio. The mic the mic audio didn't come through, so all you got for the whole episode was like the audio from the camera, which is, I mean, just painful. So like stuff happens, shit happens, but what happened last week? The reason there's no episode of PSVR, Why We Love PSVR up today, is because last week Des was supposed to come over after work. This is how it works. Like every Tuesday, I wake up super early and I get PSVR Gamescast Live together. Like I start putting everything into OBS. I start like coming up with like a run of show and start figuring it all out and figure out what Jeremy and I are going to talk about. And then I get everything set up basically between like 8. I do everything from like 8 to noon. Then I take a quick shower. Jeremy's here for 1. And then we start filming, boom, right away. And then from like the moment that show's over until Des shows up around, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, I'm usually preparing for Why We Love PSVR. Again, it takes like a whole day to prepare for one of these shows. So, but because I've been sick, things didn't go exactly as planned, right? So Des sends me a text. He goes, "I'm probably going to be pretty late tonight." He goes, "Like the reservations and blah blah blah." We work at a restaurant. You can never. The worst thing is like when you're dating somebody or you're trying to make plans for after work with somebody who doesn't work in the restaurant industry. They're always like, "Okay, what time are we going to meet up?" And I'm like, "I don't know, whenever I get out of fucking work, man." Like, just, I don't know. Like, you just never know. That last table wants to sit around and drink coffee for an hour. You're like, well, I'm suddenly an hour later than I expected to be. But Des knew it was going to be kind of a late night. I was like, that's totally cool. And around 6 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon, I was expecting him around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I was like, man, I need a nap. I'm so tired all the time. I'm going to take a 2-hour nap and get up and prepare for the show. Didn't work out at all. What happened was I had played the game we were going to play or talk about like all day. I was capturing footage and stuff, but like I didn't do any of my notes, right? I had like some ideas, some of the research, but I took a nap at 6 and I set all my alarms for 8. I was like, that'll give me plenty of time. Give me like 2 hours to sit there and just come up with notes and then prepare for him to show up at 11. Next thing I know, Des is calling and texting. I'm getting all these notifications on my, that siren's on my end if anybody's driving and watching this. I'm getting all these, my phone is blowing up and I'm like, well, what's going on? What's going on? It's like I wake up out of like dead sleep, and when you're like, I was in the middle of like deep sleep. You ever wake up in the middle of that and you think like the world is ending? That's kind of how I felt. It was 10:30 at night and I hadn't prepared for the show at all, right? And I wake up and I'm just like sweating and I'm like just disgusting. Another symptom of everything I'm going through is just like sweating while I sleep. It's very uncomfortable. So I wake up and I see that Des is like ready to go. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" He's like, I'm on my way over. And I was like, "Oh no!" He's like I've never been so unprepared for a show in my entire life. So I'm like, "Yeah, fine." Because the last thing I want is for Des to like have to like wait an hour to come film, right? I'm already on his schedule, and he already has such long days. The last thing I ever wanted was for Des to like have to like sit around and wait for an hour for me to be ready because I overslept. Hold on. Shit. So here I am waiting for a important phone call, hoping to get my test results back, and it's like some sales call. Oh God, sales calls are out of control. I get like 3 of them a day. So I didn't want Des to have to like wait. So I was like, that's cool. I can totally do this. Like we've done so many episodes of Why We Love PSVR. We've got the routine down to a science. I'm like, I've played enough of this game where I can just fly by the seat of my pants. I take a couple quick notes before the show starts, and I'm totally good to go. And yeah. And we did okay. I think we did okay. But I was watching the footage last night or the night before. I was just like, this is awful. This is awful. And it was half It was half because I looked like I had just come out of a coma. Like, I mean, like I was just like, my eyes were barely open, and I was just sweating profusely the entire episode. And so to the point where, like, I mean, I'm not egotistical, right? Like, I understand that I'm like getting older, and like, I whatever, you know, I'm not too concerned about what I look like these days. But when I look like I looked like I was fucking overdosing on something. Like, I just looked like a crackhead. Like, I can't even describe it, right? Just awful, right? I can't believe Des didn't tell me. You know, he, like, later on he was like, yeah, you were like sweating the whole episode. I'm like, dude, like, I know I'm sweating, but man, if I look like death warmed over, like, you've got to tell me these things, because we wasted. It was so distracting that while I was editing the episode, I was like, we can't do this. I cannot, in good faith, air this episode, because not only was, like, I wasn't in the right mindset, and everything I was saying, like, I was taking the long way around everything. It was so, my thoughts were not clear, not concise. I was just coming out of a deep sleep, and like, you know, my eyes were barely open, and I was like downing coffee to try to like get some energy at the last second, and again, I just, you know, looked like I was gonna die on the table. It's like, this isn't enjoyable to watch. I'm trying to edit it. It's not enjoyable to watch. And so for the first time ever, I was like, well, we have to redo this one. And I feel bad. You know, Des is a fucking consummate professional, man. Like, he's like, whatever you think is right, whatever you want to do. He always trusts my judgment. And it sucks because I have to put him through the paces of literally refilming the show. But I think it's going to be better. It's going to be better. And he did fine. That's the worst part about it. Like, I wish I could have been like, hey, we have to refilm it. This time, here's a few notes for you. No, he did fine. He always does fine. This is fantastic. So we're going to refilm the episode, and I'll air it later this week, Wednesday or Thursday, whenever we get around to filming it. I will do my absolute best and have it up by the next morning. So this is sort of the first time my health is impacting the channel, impacting other people. And I really hate what's going on right now. So I'm pushing through. I want to get back kind of to my old routine. I want to get, like, you know, more videos up on the channel. Again, quality videos. I don't just want to throw videos up because I want more videos. I want quality videos. I want stuff that's fun to watch, stuff that you enjoy watching. And so I just that's why I'm keeping you guys updated on my health, because it's important to me that you know that I am 100% committed to this, and that any day now I'm gonna have a treatment, solution, whatever, and hopefully I'll just bounce back and be back to my good old self. Not sleeping and making videos all the time and playing video games. My Torn review isn't even done. That drives me insane. That game's been out for like 2 weeks now. There's no reason for my Torn review not to be done. I finished that game like the day after it came out. So I'm gonna work on that. Hopefully I'll have that up on the channel later today. And I just want to say thank you guys, not only for your Patreon support, but also for all your patience. It's been a rough time, man. Like, Michelle, we cannot seem to find a time that Michelle can make it to the Gamescast. Jeremy is showing up to the Gamescast every week, but not having any video game stuff to talk about. He just doesn't have time in his life to play video games, and on top of that, PlayStation VR games. PSVR Gamescast Live is such a misnomer. It's live, and it's a Gamescast, but we don't really talk much about PSVR stuff. So we're trying to sort all of these issues out, because, I don't know, everything was going so well for so long, and then we just kind of hit a wall on multiple levels. But I'm absolutely determined to figure it all out, and make sure that, you know, we have the channel back up and running to its full potential as soon as possible. That's it. So thanks for listening. That's my story. I really hope that refilming this week's episode of Why We Love PSVR is totally worth it, and, you know, and it'll be fun to watch. So thank you again for everything. I love you all.